Always playing with the light. So I'm compelled to go live today. I think I'm just doing it publicly, and my mic is on, unlike yesterday. And I turned the chat on, and no one's going to hop on. But hey, what's up? I'm choosing to have the day be open to whatever comes up. And I put on a video from the channel So Awake, because he was streaming yesterday. Anyway, and he's saying a lot of stuff, and there's a lot of stuff is being brought up that is getting my brain moving, and memories are coming up, and stuff is coming up. And I wanted to, I don't know, I feel compelled to share live, mostly to just, I don't know, that's what I feel like doing. And so I may or may not just keep this thing rolling and like leave and come back. Maybe. And we'll see. I might cut it together into something else later. Things. I'm gonna put a link to the video that I'm referring to in my description. Actually, I could look it up. So he named this Ships Lost at Sea. But it's one of his like Satsang, like community sits. Anyway, and he started it with a meditation that I woke up and I was like, let's get in there, of being in my body. I'm seeing a lot of synchronicity between stuff that I'm doing and feeling and the channels that I follow and what they're doing and feeling. So that's fun. And of course, it's all always talking about the same thing, being present with yourself and being present. I feel like I'm a little elevated right now. It's because I'm nervous, because I think I'm just going, I don't do these live things publicly. Usually I'm doing it to record a video. I put it as unlisted so that it doesn't take like a full day to upload a video from my phone. Things. So some stuff that was coming up for me. I hate this lighting. I'm trying to keep on messing with it. I think it's just that my camera sucks. And I hate my hair. It's not expressing itself the way it wants to. Let's see what happens. Wait a minute. Oh, that's so much better. I feel like a person now. Okay. That was my clean the kitchen hair. Cleaning the kitchen oftentimes like lets me get in touch with my body, because if I'm putting on, like, I'm moving back and forth, and so you can really go wherever with that. You can, I can be in my body and really pay attention to what I'm doing. Or if I'm in a dissociative space, which, I try not to be, but it's sometimes I'm on autopilot and I can distract. But like things happen as they need to. The kitchen is an interesting place that way. And there's food there. So if I'm distracting myself, sometimes I'm grabbing food. This morning I made it a point I had that thing of like food. And I thought, okay, let's eat something so that I really do have food in my body so that later I don't have to think about if I feel like maybe I shouldn't eat anyway. So that food is not something I have to think about. So I ate like a mandarin orange and an egg. I was like, okay, we've got things in my body that if I don't eat anything else for the rest of the day, it's fine. I've got lots of energy stored in different places in my body that I can always pull from. So it's not the end of the world. So that's a nice thing, nice checkbox to not have to think about. And it was great to start my day with this meditation where Josh totally, just dropped into the body and said, let's get in there. And I was like, that's what I was doing yesterday, and that's what I want to do all day today. So let's go. So that was nice. I have trouble with a lot of guided meditations. So it's nice when I bump into something where it really is resonating with where I'm at. And it's the voice of someone who is constantly sharing themselves and, being open and vulnerable and being a guide to others. And that's cool. So that was nice. And then the conversation was shifted to, as so often it does, I think there's stuff in his details where he like mentioned some other people. So I checked out who that is, and so it's like sometimes you can go into a YouTube wormhole, but in this case, it was very intentional. There were things that showed up in my feed, like there was an IFS, I think it stands for Internal Family Systems, like talk. So I was like, I'm tune into that real quick. And that reminded me of where this version of myself started, which was early 2020, where apart from the term awakening from all the stuff that I've been exposed to, or I guess it's called Kensho awakening in certain disciplines. But anyway, apart from that, what I was calling my awakening when I woke up was in the beginning of 2020, where something prompted me to dip into inner child healing work more directly. And out of that came this explosion of self-respect, really, and just trusting my instincts. That really is at the core of doing what feels right for me and really acting on it. And not indulging things that other people are like, oh, you should totally do that. Or, and being like, oh, I guess it's like, no. I know what I need. I know what I don't need. And it's okay when I don't know to just be okay. So it reminded me of that. It reminded me that I can more directly and more often engage with that and kind of come back to that. And it was interesting to just give myself space and sit and remember what that work was like and how far I've come. Of like part of the visualization in the talk, I put it in my playlist of tools and reminders. So it's in there if you want to check that out, because I forgot what it was now. There it is. It's or liked videos. Dr. Tori Olds, and she goes into internal family systems. So she just kind of mentioned looking in the eyes of that child as yourself now, who is the adult. This is after a lot of work. And I allowed myself to do that real quick and to see how much easier it is to do that more directly. Because that took a lot of time to be able to really hold space for the child who was not taken care of, or the child who was, I don't want to dip in there. I don't want to get too crazy, or too me about this. But that was nice to remember what that's like. And oh, cool. My friend just said hi. That's really funny. Now that I said no to sharing with you about my abuse, my whole body is just like, I hate it. Wow. I'm just going to stop right now and see where I should go. It's funny how this is making these videos. This really does do something. It really is moving stuff. There's so much. It's interesting to notice the difference between allowing things to come and flow through so that they can be released and getting stuck in them and obsessed with them. And I'm still live this moment, finding how to differentiate energetically between, hey, is this about me or is this about release? Am I trying to say, hey, focus on me? Is this a vanity thing or a needy baby thing? Or is this sharing and releasing and expressing and being authentic? More and more, it's nice that I can follow what I feel and be like, no, if something needs to be said, it's interesting, like the energy signature of this. Because I have moments where I've shared in other videos where I'll feel like sharing something where it feels like a tangent and it feels like, hey, my brain's running off in this direction. Why don't you all come with me, like in a conversation? And it feels like, it's okay not to say that. And the energy signature of that, when it feels right to just keep it to myself, is good. Of like that, it's more present to stay with the energy of the crowd. Of course, this YouTube thing is more what I call like more synthetic. It's more, this is not as natural an interaction because I'm really talking to myself out loud in public, is the energy of this. And I'm sharing with, but the fact that it's public, it is a shared thing and it's nice to share. So it was interesting how the energy signature of holding that back, of that thing, was very different. It was like, no, that's something about you to share. And that's something that um, sharing about your abuse, it feels selfish, but I think that feeling is incorrect. It's a resistance to release. Um, so some of what came up for me when I was listening to the conversation going on, and kind of when I was um, this morning, anyway, listening to the videos, um, was the memory of what I've been through. And um, part of it was the connection of, so I know Josh, who is kind of the speaker in the channel So Awake. I know him from college. And I was thinking about how, we kind of knew the same people. And my two serious relationships, the first of those was someone that he knew. And I thought about how funny that is. And then I kind of shifted into thinking about those relationships. That my first relationship was with someone who, it was a reflection to myself of my mom. It was someone who was an outsider and judgmental of himself and of others, and very honest and autistic, like me. And so I saw those parts of myself in him. And my 2-year relationship with this person was a lot like, the abuse in that relationship was a lot like the abuse with my mom, of judgment and, why aren't you this way? You have to be this way. A lot of positives were part of that relationship too. I learned a lot, and I'm smarter in many ways because of that relationship. But it was a relationship with my mom, basically, playing out in my adulthood. And then my immediately following second relationship was energetically, and only after it ended did I put this together, it was a relationship with my dad. In my childhood, my dad was my rescuer from my mom. That was, kind of ran into the arms of this person who's like, I understand you and I'm here for you and you're special. Um, but it was all a path into a different form of abuse. And so my second relationship that just ended last year, with this guy that I have to keep seeing every week, was right like a relationship with my dad. And that played out for 15 years. And it's been cool to notice that it's been less than a year since that guy moved out of this house. And I'm already this far, that I have, and I mean, of course, all of this stuff began in 2020. So it's been a while, but he was still here. And so I was still like hunkered down in a certain way. I couldn't fully step into the experience of what's going on. I need to slow down because I don't want to get into like a triggered state or a manic state. And I can feel my body ramping up, so I'm going to slow down. The mic is still on. I'm so excited. It's good to notice that I've done so much overanalysis, dipping into my emotions, my history, healing, and that my process works. I don't commit to any one way of doing things. I don't have a meditation practice. I saw a therapist here and there, and she ultimately told me, like, you're on the right path. If you feel lost, call me, but you don't need me. Um, so I don't see a therapist regularly. I, do this stuff in my head. I journal, but I don't do that regularly either. I don't have a regular exercise routine, eating routine. There is nothing routine about what I do other than, I have a job that I have to do. But when it comes to my personal growth, I made it a point to accept that I am not consistent with anything and that I will get in there when it feels like it. When I feel like being in my body, to do that. When I feel like meditating, to do that. And to not be like, oh, I should do this more. So now when that should comes up, I dismiss it more and more quickly nowadays of like, oh, that's just a thought of like the should thought. And that's fine. It can be there and it can go. Uh, it's been cool to see that with all of these little spot checks, it makes me think of when I found that I don't have to water my whole lawn, I can just spot water. It was it's kind of like that. Like the lawn stayed green somehow with little spot dripping of water. And so my little spot meditations and stuff that I do, spot exercising, spot journaling, that I'm here in this great place where these analyses and stories are all flowing through. I'm not as stuck in them. And I'm so thankful. I'm so thankful that I was introduced to. I'm really thankful that I was Facebook connected with Josh, that I got introduced to this stuff, because it really is an acceleration. And, at the same time, it was kind of things come as they do. And I would have gotten more into this sooner or later, but I'm really thankful for this connection. Um, uh, it's very cool that over the last month, I've really shifted from digging into the stories and getting stuck in them to letting them flow, not being afraid of them, but also not holding on to them. So freeing. Because I've been doing this for years. I've been running these reels of stories and analyses, and they're not wrong, but it's like they're tired. And I thought, okay, I have like 5 books that I like started that I'm like, okay, I'm going to write all these analyses and thoughts into books so that I can let them go. One is called Freedom versus Security, which just feels like a fundamental way of how people are driven. And how the world works, how wars are fought, and how politics are done, and how humans interact. Um, and another is called Safety, Love, Accountability, Exploration. And that was going to be a parenting book, reflecting on how I was parented and how I'm now parenting, and seeing what was fundamental. When I found out I was pregnant, And when we decided that we're going to keep it that way, I thought, okay, I do not have consistency, which is what they say children need. So that's not going to happen. Or like, I need to be okay with that not happening. So what is something that must happen? This child will feel safe and this child will feel loved. And eventually, as my parenting continued, I kind of was building out like, what else is important here? So a child has to feel safe first. I was surprised to find that safety came first before love. Now I'm buying into this thought and I'm kind of like developing it and letting it run. But anyway, I smell something burning and I want to remember that I'm not cooking anything. I think it's coming from outside. Okay, I think everything's okay. So all these books and all these thoughts that really came from my making it in the world and being okay. Books about religion and God and personal relationships. All these thoughts. And it's been very nice that in the last month I'm finding ways to let these things flow so that all these pieces of art or writing or music can come if they need to, but they are now not compulsory. They're not like, oh, I have to get this done. I have to do this. If they decide to come up in that way and come out, awesome. And it's okay to not have it be like a project that I like have to finish. Yeah. I have so many boards and canvases and so much paint in the garage waiting for me to just go nuts. And I have songs that are waiting to for me to focus on them. And all this music and all this poetry. And it's nice that I don't have to feel like they're clamoring anymore. And I don't have to feel bad about, I've been spot doing those too. And that's fine. Yeah, I like this video. I think it's going to be kind of we'll see how the day goes. Now that I was thinking about texting my friend all morning. I was like, it's too early. It's too early. And it's cool that she texted me that she and I are on the same page about hanging out today. So that'll happen. And it's daylight savings Sunday. So picked up an hour, woke up at what was 7:30 and became 6:30. So that's trippy and fun I love picking up time. It sucks that it gets dark while I'm still working. That's what trips me out about fall daylight savings, but I do like picking up that hour. Let's see how this goes because that was a lot. I know the effects of oversharing and I've experienced them and I've seen others experience them. I think I'm cool because I'm in the place in my life right now where expressing all this stuff feels fine. And the conversation in the world is so wide now that this is not a shock. And I'm just one of so many people who've experienced so many things. And except for people who are already public by their own choice, I'm generally not inclined to be mentioning any names. So I don't think there's any regrets here in this video yet. So I think I can, in good faith, with good conscience, walk away and call my friend back and have a great day. And I might be back today.